Have you ever caught yourself rehearsing a conversation that hasn't even happened yet? Maybe you've already imagined exactly what you'll say, and what they'll say back. You practice arguments in the shower, prepare answers while lying in bed, or replay the same imaginary conversation dozens of times. Sometimes the conversation never even happens. But somehow, you've already spent hours preparing for it. It might seem harmless. Maybe you think you're just being prepared. But if you do this all the time, there's usually something much deeper going on. The real reason isn't that you like planning. It's that your brain is trying to protect you from a fear you may not even notice. Reason 1, they fear being caught off guard. Unexpected questions make many people uncomfortable. They worry they'll freeze, say something stupid, or regret their answer later. So the brain starts preparing for every possible scenario. It treats conversations like exams where every answer has to be perfect. The more uncertain the situation feels, the more conversations your brain rehearses. It believes preparation will remove uncertainty, but life rarely follows a script. Real conversations almost never happen exactly the way you imagined. Instead of making you feel prepared, endless rehearsing often makes you even more anxious. Because no matter how much you prepare, your brain keeps thinking of one more possibility. Reason 2, they fear being misunderstood. Some people don't just want to express themselves. They desperately want to be understood exactly as they intended. So they mentally rewrite every sentence before saying it. They're constantly searching for the perfect wording. They imagine how the other person might misunderstand them. Then they adjust their imaginary response again. The conversation becomes less about communicating and more about preventing mistakes. Ironically, trying too hard to say everything perfectly often makes speaking feel much harder. Because you're thinking about every sentence instead of simply having the conversation. Reason 3, they want to control the outcome. Your brain loves certainty. Conversations don't provide that. You can't control how someone else will react. But your brain doesn't like that feeling at all, so it starts creating imaginary conversations where it can predict every response. It feels like taking back control. But control is only an illusion. Real people rarely follow the script you've created. When reality doesn't match your expectations, the conversation often feels even more stressful. The need for certainty quietly creates more uncertainty. Reason 4, they replay past regrets. Maybe you've walked away from a conversation thinking, I should have said that. Your brain remembers those moments surprisingly well. It doesn't want you to experience that regret again. So before every important conversation, it starts preparing dozens of possible responses. It thinks it's helping you avoid future embarrassment. But instead of learning from the past, your brain becomes trapped by it. Old regrets slowly turn into future anxiety. Every conversation begins carrying the weight of previous ones. What started as one uncomfortable experience becomes a habit of constant mental rehearsing. Reason 5, they think preparation will remove anxiety. Many people believe they'll finally feel calm once they've rehearsed enough. But that moment rarely arrives. Every time they finish preparing, the brain invents another scenario. Another possible question. Another possible problem. The rehearsal never truly ends because anxiety always finds something new to prepare for. Instead of reducing fear, endless preparation often teaches the brain that conversations really are dangerous. The more you rehearse every interaction, the more your brain believes it can't handle spontaneous conversations. Confidence doesn't come from predicting every possible outcome. It comes from trusting yourself to handle whatever happens. So why do some people constantly practice future conversations? Because their brain is trying to protect them from uncertainty, embarrassment, and rejection. It believes that if it plans enough, nothing can go wrong. But conversations aren't performances, they're unpredictable by nature. The truth is, you'll never be able to prepare for every possible response, and you don't need to. The next time you catch yourself rehearsing a conversation for the 10th time, ask yourself one question. Am I preparing, or am I trying to control something I can't? Because the people who seem most confident aren't the ones with perfect scripts. They're the ones who trust themselves even when the conversation doesn't go as planned. And that's the moment rehearsing stops becoming necessary. You stop trusting the script, and start trusting yourself.